think I have my tea and I have my book to talk about, so let's get started. So, this is the book that I grabbed at the airport. This is Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I think I had seen it quite a lot of times with the recommended list, and I thought of like buying this one because this was quite handy and something that I could finish up very quickly. Eventually, I didn't. I sort of took a lot of time because I was really interested in some of the things that I kind of went through, and I kept coming back and reading it again and again. Um, the first few things that I really liked, I actually wrote them as well because it was really interesting. This is one of those reads where you actually have to absorb quite a lot of information and you can't just skip through it. This is what I felt. Um, Especially some of the lines that I really liked, I actually put sticky notes there. Um, and this is also talking about the negative thoughts that we have in our head, and we can keep like thinking about those things in a way that it puts an impression on our mind, and we don't kind of realize how important it is to cultivate good thinking, to start building up your thought process in a way where you're also avoiding any negative thought. It's about creating your own reality by focusing only on the things that you want and you desire rather than focusing on the negative parts of the reality. Basically, it's also talking about how powerful our mind is, how powerful our thoughts are, and if we give into a lot of like negative thinking, it just like kind of cultivates that kind of reality, and you sort of become that person that you kind of don't want to be, but you're focusing so much on the negative that it ends up happening. And it went pretty crazy because there's so many things in life that we focus on, and eventually we don't want to, but it kind of becomes sort of like our engaging thought process, and this is all we discover. Now, the best parts about this book was, and the line that I really liked was, the subconscious cannot reason like your conscious mind. So what we absolutely forget about is that anything that we impress upon our mind is it kind of turns into a thing. And we often have this idea, and we've always been groomed in a certain way where we feel like if something that is out of reach is out of reach and we cannot get it, because that's how we've been conditioned to live through. And it certainly tells you about the subconscious doesn't know how to reason about your thought process. So if you want to become something and you consciously thinking about this isn't possible, this is impossible, so be it, it won't be possible because you have had this mentality where you think it's impossible, and that gets impressed upon your mind and that becomes your reality. So yeah, and I think most of my life, I think I was circling around the same things where I felt some things were kind of out of reach for me, but then eventually when I started impressing good ideas and thought process in my head, I became really really down to the core of realizing that impossible is nothing until and unless we just kind of explore more on those. And I'm no expert on that. Definitely I do tend to go back to the mindset where I feel like literally very kind of like not in a good shape, but this kind of gives you a hope and a process where you feel like you have to really rethink and rewire your mindset to kind of get to where you want to be. And I think this is one great hell of a book to even though if you don't like actually kind of follow through what's written, I think at the end of the book you kind of feel really empowered and you feel good, and something that's very important in life anyways is to feel good about yourself, and then just like, just don't think about the limiting beliefs that you have in your life. I think that takes a lot more important step to be realizing how important it is to like not focus on the bad and just focus on the good. I am certainly not the person to have been giving advice on that, but I think I really felt good about reading this one, and I think everybody should. So yeah, hope you like it, and if there's any other books that I should read and talk about, you can let me know.